just want to see him be a league average ball player,
Right.
right? The expectations are so low; they're on the floor. He just needs to perform semi okay, and hope for the sake of him as like an individual, you want to see him perform well enough so that the Marlins think that he is good enough for that when Jazz transitions to shortstop eventually, because we all know it's going to happen.
Hmm.
Isan can be that second baseman, but obviously up to this point he has not shown that. So hopefully, uh, with this opportunity, he can turn it around. I mean, I don't know if you see it differently.
I hope so because I think about it offensively as well. He's a left-handed hitter. He has some pop in his bat, so it's good to have some power on the left side of the plate because Dickerson is really only that and Jazz. But now with Jazz out, you only have really Dickerson as that power lefty in that lineup, so he can provide some thump on the left side of the plate. And like you said, no one's asking him to be what they expect him, like a star prospect. Like, okay, that really hasn't panned out yet, but eliminate those expectations. Just be a formidable MLB player. There's nothing like a John Birdie. Like, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that at all. And
Birdie's phenomenal.
he's sick. And
So underrated.
guys like that stick around in this league, and get called up and get their opportunity because they're willing to play any position, but they're grinders as well. So, they're not going to be the flashiest players, but they make the routine plays, and that's what we're expecting now from Isan. Not to be the flashy, home run hitter hitting bombs off everybody like Jacob deGrom and whatnot. No. Just be a normal, at least average second baseman, and then that is, I'll be an upgrade already from what you did in the season prior and in your rookie season as well. Now, because I don't want to bash Isan, he seems like a good kid, but
Mhm.
I'm rooting for him because at the end of the day, we got him for Christian Yelich, so he needs to produce.
Same reason we're rooting for Lewis Brinson. I
Well,
mean,
I don't like the way he goes about himself, hitting a below the Mendoza line, smoking cigars and Wrigley Field like he did it all for the team. But anywho, who cares about that? He's hitting fifth now, so let's see if it works out. Let's see if it pans out for him today. But I want to talk about another player going away from offense to pitching. Let's talk about Trevor Rogers here. And in terms of injuries, Sixto Sanchez, Eliezer Hernandez, they're both out. And so, we didn't expect, me personally, Trevor Rogers to be this type of pitcher and like pretty much the ace of this stuff because he's kind of out pitching Sandy. Like Sandy's
he
pitching great,
definitely is, yeah.
but he has been out pitching Sandy, and he's looking at the true ace of this team. In the future, do you see that as him taking over for Sandy as the ace?
I think it's one of those situations where you can't really be certain.
Right.
I mean, he hasn't had that many starts to start the year. Yes, he's had a great start. Yes, he's up there with some amazing names of rookies who have had starts like these. I think there's only I read a stat today that there's only 6 other rookies in Major League Baseball history to put up stats similar or better to what Trevor Rogers has done. Just a few of those names: Jack Flaherty, the ace of the Cardinals, right now, had a stretch in his late rookie year. A name that we all know well, Jose Fernandez, is on that list. So I believe Dwight Gooden. There's a lot of really good names that he's in the conversation with. But for me, just speaking analytically, he has been great. But it's only been a few games,
Yeah.
right?
Small sample size.
If he continues this stretch or somewhat near it, right? Then yes, if we see a full year of Trevor Rogers pitching this well, I would say he's already the ace. But we've only seen it a few games, and also Sandy has pitched very well for not having his best stuff. He's rocking with a little over 3 ERA. He has had like the lowest run support in the league up to date. I think it's second worst in the league, and he also has just not had his A game. I don't know if you've noticed over the past few games. The two seam isn't being located as well as it normally is. The changeup isn't dipping as much. His location is off, and he's still. I mean, in a game versus the Brewers where there were struggles to find, his location at times, still went 7 innings, only allowing 2 runs. So I think even regardless of what Trevor Rogers has done, Sandy is still the ace. Until you see more from Trevor Rogers. Like if Trevor Rogers puts up these DeGrom-esque numbers for a full-on year, then we can say he's probably going to be the ace. But as all rookies do, that Rogers is gonna struggle at a point. Jazz Chisholm is gonna struggle at a point. It's how they bounce back that makes it worth it. I mean, maybe you see it as Trevor Rogers is the ace, I think there's no real wrong way to see it. It's a good situation to be in.
I mean, it brings competition, that's for sure, into your rotation. So that's always a plus. Guys trying to, outduel each other, during spring training, doing practices and whatnot. So it brings that sort of competition, which I like. Like, he's a lefty as well. We really haven't had a really, really strong lefty pitcher for a long time. They tried it with Andrew Heaney. That didn't work out. Justin Nicolino. That didn't work out as well. So it's nice to see a power lefty starting on the mound for the Marlins and really doing well. Kind of, reminds me of the days of Dontrell Willis, that you can really use him in starting. And he was a starter. He was a reliever. I like, obviously, Rogers as a starter. And wrapping things up here, Christian, just a couple minutes left here in the segment. With Jorge Alfaro out, we've seen the emergence of Sandy Leon. And, we talked about in the past about Chad Wallach and the struggles with him and his framing and his offensive liabilities. But Sandy Leon is a pretty good framer, and he does not strike out as much as Chad Wallach. He puts the ball in play a lot more, that's for sure. I hope Mattingly starts using him more over Wallach. Wallach has to start today because Sandy has been starting recently, but I hope Sandy is the definitive starter here on out while Jorge Alfaro is out with injury.
I think Sandy. I was pushing for Sandy to start the year in the majors.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that may have been premature, but I wrote a few articles before the season started talking about how Sandy's probably your optimal bet. He's a better framer than the other two, and you're really not going to get offensive presence from Wallach or Alfaro either way. So regardless of how good Sandy Leon is at the plate, if pitchers are more comfortable with him, you're going to see more success overall in the long term. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, and guys, don't forget, next segment, we're going to have a Marlins super fan call in. I'm excited for that. Christian and I can't wait to talk to him. And guys, don't forget, take Onside Radio everywhere you go with the radio.net app. Download the free app and listen to your favorite OnsideRadio.com hosts. Go to our website, OnsideRadio.com, and download radio.net. Then search Onside Radio, South Florida's sports station.
Remember to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Deep into the Count with Alex Aguirre and Christian Chase.
When you want a perfectly straight smile without braces, you can count on MoodyAsDental.com. A stunning smile is within reach. Learn more about Invisalign. Find out why so many trust the Moody-Ass family. Dr. Moody-Ass is an inventor and has several patents on innovative surgical instruments that are used around the world. Experience a family environment and trust on a worldwide level. From implants to crowns to a beautiful Invisalign smile. Call 305-821-0231. That's 305-821-0231. Or go to the website at MoodyAsDental.com.
Are you ready?
Guayin had a window, but leaves it here for Morgan. In for some strike. It's into the top corner. And Lewis Morgan has got a brace again.
The passion.
Goal! Captain Morgan! What a shot! What a blood! What a missile!
Onside Radio is prepared for another Inter Miami CF campaign. Catch the games. Go to our website and download the apps. On your home for La Rosa Negra, OnsideRadio.com.
If you're looking for a change from the everyday restaurant, then you need to get to Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach. Brats, Wiener Schnitzel, homemade potato pancakes, pretzels with mustard, and lots of German beer. And with daily specials, there is something for everyone. If you're up for a challenge, you should take their famous boot tour. Finish 30 boots of different varieties of German beer, and you'll receive half price on their beer for life. And you'll get to take home your own boot and Checkers Old Munchin t-shirt. They also have outdoor seating available in their new beer garden with live music, as well as carry-out, curbside pickup, and delivery. So, for the finest German food and beer, get over to 2209 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Checkers Old Munchin Restaurant, or call them for reservations at 954-785-7565. That's 954-785-7565. We'll see you at Zagat-rated Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach.
He has an overbite that makes him look like a cartoon character, a slightly crooked eye, and an uncommonly wrinkly neck. In the right light, he can look a little like a garden gnome, and he'll wear a bow tie just because. Sure, you might call him a little quirky, but that's exactly what makes him so perfect. Tuna is a 3-year-old Chihuahua Dachshund mix with more than 700,000 followers on Instagram, and it all started because he was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Tuna. but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Let's step back into the batter's box with Alex and Christian. To reach out to the guys, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Back into deep into the count on OnSideRadio.com.
And we're back here, deep in the count. Beautiful day here in Dry Pink Stadium. Sir Austin talked about it a lot. Inter Miami will not be playing here tomorrow. They're on the road in Nashville. It's going to be a good game for them. Happy for them that their season's starting out with fans in the stands and they're able to enjoy it, enjoy that camaraderie. And especially here, it's a very small stadium compared to other stadiums and sporting venues. So the fans are right here up close and personal. So I'm happy that they're here supporting their team, especially here in South Florida. Another team to love and root for. And now in this segment, we're waiting for that Marlins superfan to call in. But for now, we're going to get into more Marlins talk. And this time, we're going to talk about the Marlins pitching staff in terms of the updates in Sixto Sanchez, Eliezer Hernandez, and the outlook and the future of Daniel Castano and Nick Neidert with this team as well. Christian, what has been your take so far with Neidert, Castano, I guess quote unquote the replacement so far for this pitching staff?
Yeah, I mean, they've done their job, right? I mean, I don't think there's been, any truly negatives from them, right? But when you're looking at this pitching staff as a whole, like long term, those two guys don't really, at least for now, maybe Neidert, but mostly don't fit in. I mean, when you have everyone healthy, you're looking at Trevor, Sandy, Pablo, Eliezer, and Sixto. Those are your five guys, and that's one hell of a rotation. And if Neidert and Castano are to continue on the ball club, which I probably wouldn't expect, but if they do, you'll probably see them in a long bullpen role coming in when one of those five starters actually does struggle, and they'll pitch 4 or 5 innings out of the pen, is my guess.
And Castano, he's been good so far. He's been hanging in there. He's not a power guy. He just tries to miss the barrels of the bats. Neidert as well. They're not going to overpower you. They're not going to blow by you with their fastballs and their breaking balls. They're just trying to miss barrels, get it soft contact, get the defense involved. And for the most part, they've done it, and I'm really happy for them. Because at the end of the day, I'm not hoping for injuries on this Marlins pitching staff. But in a way, this is kind of like a tryout, an extra look, and like a deeper spring training, if you will. Because let's be real here, these guys weren't going to make the team. Probably maybe one of them as a long reliever, but most likely they were going to start the season in the minors. So I feel like it's an extended tryout for them because they could be in either the 4-5 option in the future for this rotation, or if they do well enough, listen to this. We're going to get into this later on in the next segment as well, that if these pitchers and maybe some other position players like Duvall or something like that, if they start playing really well with Sixto and Eliezer out, they can be packaged in a trade. For maybe to get a bat. Maybe instead of getting rid of a position player, maybe a minor leaguer and one of these established starters like a Neidert or a Castano, package them up and maybe get a solid bat if the Marlins are still in the thick of things when we get deeper into the season.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a plausible option. I think you do that if you're in the hunt, right? And hopefully at that time the Marlins are going to be in some sort of a hunt. Right now they're only a game and a half back. They are in last place in the division, but it's kind of crazy how condensed the NL East is, that last place is only a game and a half back of first place. Just to update everyone listening, the Nationals have the bases loaded right now with 1 out. They've already scored a run. They're up 1-0 in the bottom of the first. Paul Campbell is struggling, to say the least. Former Marlin, Starling Castro at the plate. So I'll keep that update kind of rolling. But yeah, you just want to be in the conversation. You want to be in the talks of potentially at the trade deadline being near a playoff run. And to be completely honest with you, this roster we're seeing today is really realistically the roster of a 60-win team.
Yeah.
So if the injuries continue to pile up, I would doubt that would happen. Hopefully things work out though. Injuries subside, and the Marlins are back to the team they were on opening day, which looking back was a pretty solid roster.
Yeah, and looking back now, definitely, because we can't have players, unfortunately, like Paul Campo, Zach Pop. These players can't be for the deep run for this season. They can't be part of the rotation, because then the Marlins are going to sink and sink and sink lower into the standings. And for the first time, not for the first time, but for the first time in a while, you feel these injuries. You feel them. If Starling you felt Starling Marte's presence in the lineup last season when he got traded, and once he got hurt, and especially against Atlanta when he wasn't in that series, I get it. Atlanta is a juggernaut. The Marlins were, they were the underdogs obviously in that series, but Starling Marte is such a difference maker in that lineup, and it's a shame that he's out right now. And to top it off with other players like BA and Jazz. So yeah, this line, I'm looking at like I mentioned the starting lineup earlier in the first segment. Lewis Brinson hitting fifth cannot be, and Adam Duvall is your cleanup hitter. He's not a cleanup hitter, to be honest with you, either. Like, he's a number 6 hitter, and he's a number 6 hitter. He's he's not really a prototypical number 3, number 4 hitter because he strikes out a lot, in my opinion. He strikes out too much. But it is what it is for now. Like I said, there's another open trial in a way for Isan Diaz, just like the pitchers. There's another few extra games, few extra weeks that he can get his reps in. And if he does a good job, then you kind of force Mattingly's hands to be like, okay, like we kind of need him. Like, he's playing really well for us. He's producing for us, and we're missing a lot of bats. So when Jazz comes back, and if Isan's playing really well, I'm really interested to see how the coaching staff and the Marlins are going to handle that, because it's all hands on deck with this team. This is a strength and numbers type of team. This is not a lot of star power.
Yeah, it's a tough situation to be in, and it's hard to this team wins when they're playing well together, not when one guy is carrying the load of the offense. Even on those nights, Starling Marte, is clutch, and the homer versus the Giants at home, the RBI single that led to the eventual walk-off by Jorge Alfaro. All team effort, right? Like, the other guys are getting on base, they're providing, they're scoring runs, and then that big moment sometimes goes to guys like Starling Marte and Jorge Alfaro. But those big moments have been so well spread out throughout this team, and it's really hard for you to have those consistently when the guys who can plausibly have those big moments are all not on the field. So you really just want to tread water to the best of your ability with these injuries. Hopefully Jazz coming back in 5 days or so should spark something, right? The offense hasn't been too great. Corey Dickerson is having a great season.
Great Milwaukee
He's
series.
out. That's definitely an underrated loss for the Marlins right now. He was getting on base like an all-star and up to this point.
And I was looking down on that move of remember, before the season started, Dickerson leading off. Why would you do that? But you know what? That's why I'm not coaching in the MLB. He's getting on base a lot. He's getting on base a lot, because my biggest worry last year was seeing him struggling offensively. But he's put that to bed, because we all knew that he is a solid 280 to 300 hitter. He can do that.
Yeah.
He can do that. And now he's proving that. He had a great Milwaukee series. He's not playing today. But he's another guy, like you said, that he gets the line moving in the lineup. Like when he gets on, then it starts trickling down. It's like there's energy that flows through this team. That when one guy does it, then it's like a virus. It just keeps going one after the other, keeps getting each player.
Yeah, you just slowly get more and more players to buy in. It's like that psychological aspect of the game, right? The more you believe that you can win, the more you will win. And I don't know how much this team believes they can win. I mean, at this moment, right, with all these guys out, hopefully it's enough just to, slightly under 500 until everyone comes back. You got to expect that the Braves will put together like a 20-game win streak at some point
Oh gosh.
and just run away with the division. But, the wild card is up for grabs, I think. Yeah, I really do think when everyone is on the field for this Marlins squad that they're better than the Phillies, they're better than the Nationals, and I genuinely believe they're better than the Mets. So I do not think they're better than the Braves, but I think they're better than those three other teams, and I think that the Marlins, if everyone was healthy, would have a shot to be that team in the wild card playing against the Padres at the end of the year.
That'll be
But
exciting.
the more time that passes with injuries, the less that becomes a possible reality.
Right. The team unfortunately digs themselves a deeper hole with injuries, and it sucks, but that's how sports goes. And you mentioned something about the psychological aspect of the game, and I want to talk about Jazz quickly, wrapping this segment up. Jazz got hurt, sliding at second base on a steal. He's such an electric type of player, so much energy. My biggest, it's not a big worry, but there's a bit of a worry that his energy will get the best of him. You know what I mean? The leading to injury, and then can that affect him psychologically, saying maybe I shouldn't steal this base. I might get hurt. I might do another slide. I might not. Maybe let me hold back on this swing, or something like that. And that's something you don't want to pull the reins on. You want him. He's like a Mustang. You got to let him go. You have to let him go.
I mean, I hope it doesn't affect him psychologically, right? He's just fun to watch, and I think he knows that. I don't think, maybe if he was older, right, 32, if he was Miguel Rojas' age, he might, tone it down a little bit because he realizes, I don't have too much time left in this game. Might as well preserve what I've got and play to the best of my ability without going crazy. Jazz is young. He's fun, and he has fun on the field. I don't expect this to affect him whatsoever. Maybe if he tore an ACL or something, that would probably level up his age and his maturity on that end of things. But he strained a hamstring. That's what Jorge Alfaro was dealing with. It's an injury, and it sucks that he's out for 10 days. But it's not. It's not.
It's not the end of the world. And all be all.
Right.
Exactly. And next segment, guys. We're gonna get into Marlins trade talk. That's a topic of conversation in Marlins recent history that we don't really get a lot to talk about because the Marlins not really active in the trade deadline. But I have a feeling that's going to change this season. Christian and I are going to give you our takes on that next segment. And guys, don't forget, Inter Miami CF fans, join us for every road game as we broadcast live from Dangerous Minds Brewing Company, 1901 North Federal Highway in Pompano. Join Big O and Alex Dono. Enjoy the delicious food and incredible house drafts and giveaways. Inter Miami CF fans, your new home for every road game is Dangerous Minds Brewing Company in Pompano. Follow them on Twitter at Dangerous Minds B and Instagram at Dangerous Minds Brewing.
Remember to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Deep into the Count with Alex Aguirre and Christian Chase.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
Inter Miami CF fans, join us at our new home this season for all away games as we broadcast live at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company, 1901 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach. Join Big O and Alex Dono for the live pregame, halftime, and postgame shows while we watch the games. Enjoy meticulously brewed beer on site, delicious artisanal pizzas, live music, and giveaways. So, the new home for all Inter Miami road games is at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company at the Pompano City Mall, where they'll feature all the Inter Miami games. Follow them on Twitter at Dangerous Minds B and Facebook and Instagram at Dangerous Minds Brewing, and visit them at dangerousmindsbrewing.com.
With Make-A-Wish, the impossible becomes possible. A girl battling cancer can become a race car driver battling the course. The boy showing all the nurses his fire trucks can take the helm of a real one. Wishes can give kids with critical illnesses the strength to keep fighting, get better, and grow up.
Where there's a wish, there's a way.
Wishes need you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
When you're looking to add that extra style and protection for your home or business, visit A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie or Sunrise, where plantation shutters are a major part of our business, and they look great in any home. We have them in white, stained colors, and wood tones. We can even motorize your shutters like the one in the OnSideRadio.com studio. A Shade Above Window Fashions, 954-434-4774. That's 954-434-4774. Love the space you live in. A Shade Above Window Fashions.
Every 2 minutes, a woman in the U.S. is diagnosed with breast cancer. And in that split second, her life changes forever. The toll of breast cancer is great. The need to support those who are battling the disease today is even greater. We're fighting alongside patients because we know one moment can change a lifetime. United by hope, we can end breast cancer. Join our fight. Save lives.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
Welcome back to Deep Into the Count. To reach out to the boys, send a text to 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Alex and Christian.
Buy or sell? Sellers or buyers? That is the real question now. And I can't believe it. Like, we're talking about the trade deadline for the Miami Marlins. And there's actually excitement behind it. It's not like, okay, who are they giving away? Who are they trading? Oh, they're trying to get like a random bullpen piece, like a Will Omen. Remember that? Like in 2010, they traded for Will Omen. I was like, wow, awesome. So Christian, for once in the last few years, especially under the Don Mattingly era, the Marlins are gonna be players in the trade deadline. And for me personally, I hope that they're buyers. They're buyers, and I want them to get a bat. They need a bat. If they're going to stick around in this division, they have the pitching to compete, to withstand the bigger names and the bigger bats in this division, especially in Atlanta and New York. But hitting wise, there are so many games already in the small sample size of a season that the Marlins are losing 2-1 like last night, 3-2, 4-2, 3-1, like very close games. So, and we kind of predicted that the Marlins are going to be in a lot of close games. It's going to be a lot of tough losses, but is an extra bat, can make a difference, especially in these close games, because it's hard to rely. Because, like I said, this team is strength in numbers, so it's hard to rely on everyone to performing well on a day-to-day basis. Everyone's going to have their up and downs, but to have that one bat that's always going to be there consistently with Corey Dickerson and Starling Marte, just to have a couple extra, have another bat to complement the already solid bats in this lineup. What do you think, Christian, of how the Marlins are going to approach this trade deadline?
I mean, it's a little premature. Yeah. I mean, we can look at it from two areas. First, they're in the race for the playoffs still, third in the division, maybe a few games out of the wild card, or even just a few games out of the division if the division continues to be subpar compared to what we thought it would be. Or the Marlins continue to lose, continue to be injured, continue to, struggle, right? And then they're sellers. And I've looked at it in both ways in preparing for this to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
I think the easiest one to see is sellers, right? At the trade deadline, if the Marlins are struggling, who are they going to sell? I think the easiest name that you can sell is Corey Dickerson, right? A playoff team would probably take a guy who's hitting 300 a year, as long as he's healthy, right?
Right.
Everyone else, I don't know how much trade value you have out of those guys, right? I mean, Jesus Aguilar maybe. I mean, he definitely has trade value, but are you really going to let go? I mean, if you're letting go of Jesus Aguilar, who feels like a very big central heart and soul of this squad, I mean, that's when you're just giving up hope in general. So I don't know if you do that. Duvall has not been great. He doesn't have much trade value. Brinson has negative trade value. Past Corey Dickerson, that's all you can give out. So, and then you're like banking on more prospects in the long run. So that's really what you don't want to see, but a likely result. And then if the Marlins are buyers, I think what you want to have is, like you said, I think you want to get another bat. I don't know what you're willing to give up at this point if you're the Marlins, because you do have a farm system. You do understand that this year is not the year.
Yeah.
The Marlins are most likely not winning or I will say it now, definitely not winning a World Series this year. So
bummer.
I mean, it's not not that out there. So do you even you could trade for more prospects, sell anyways, and expect that? I think it's just the decision comes down to, do you think when this team is ready, Corey Dickerson is going to stick around? Jesus Aguilar is going to stick around. And if they make that decision that they believe they are going to stick around, you keep them, and then you buy at the trade deadline. But if you decide that those two guys, you think they're not going to stay, you're not going to be able to pay them when the team is actually ready, then you might just go ahead and sell at the deadline regardless of what's going on. Obviously, unless they're in first place or second place in the division by just a few games, I think then that'll shift things up. But with all the injuries, I'm not entirely sold that that's gonna happen.
Yeah, the injuries do have a big impact on the team on how they're going to be involved at the trade deadline, because a lot of key players are hurt. But you also mentioned, the way the front office is going to be handling this and giving up. You said giving up hope. If they get rid of these guys, you're kind of giving up hope on the season. And that's the last thing I want to see as a fan, because then they're doing the exact same thing as previous ownership. The exact same thing. They tried something out. They gave it a half a season run. Okay, we're going to tear it down. And also you mentioned as well, if the Marlins are going to be willing to pay Aguilar or Dickerson, next season or in the future, whenever. It's not about Dickerson or Aguilar for me anymore. It's about the money. So when are the Marlins going to finally pay up? You got to dish out money to be somewhat successful, and we're gonna get into that in the next hour about Moneyball and how, and can that work, and how, can more money actually bring you a World Series and whatnot. We're gonna get into that later on. But for the Marlins' sake, they don't dish out money, and I get it. That new ownership, they had a plan, but now with the naming rights and a new TV deal, the time to strike is not now. But this is this little run they're in, this little era that they're in now, or getting into. The time is to strike now, especially at the trade deadline. Be active. Show the rest of the league that Miami can be a place for other players to come and sign. And then if they get traded to Miami, they want to stick around, because in the last couple years.
Who do you say the Marlins go out and get? Who's the guy? Do you have a guy in mind?
In the offseason, I'd really liked Marwin Gonzalez. I really liked him, because I get it. The Marlins are not going to make a huge splash, in the offseason and get a Juan Soto type player. They're not going to do that. They're not going to pay up. Years ago when they almost got Albert Pujols for a $13 million contract, or a 10-year contract, a 13-year contract. The Marlins are not going to do that anymore. They can't do that anymore. They can't. So they got to make other moves. So I liked Marwin Gonzalez. Mid-tier players. Adam Duvall was a good signing. I like that. I feel like they got him a little cheaper than I thought too. But that's good on the Marlins' part. I think Duvall waited too long in the offseason to get signed after a crazy 2020 he had. But moves like that, a Duval, and then you work your way up. The next player better than Duval, and then you so on and so forth. Because you're getting these young players, but you got to surround them with some other talent. It can't all be homegrown. It's so hard to do that in baseball.
Yeah, it's just a tough situation for fans, I think, most especially because the Marlins aren't going to cough up that big money.
Yeah.
They're not gonna do any of that, especially now. We don't know. Maybe Mattingly and Kim have plans to cough up the money in a few years, but we're not gonna see the money coughed up this year. So if the Marlins are competing, expect another trade or signing similar to Starling Marte last year.
Right.
Obviously, getting Starling Marte was great, and he was a huge upgrade from Jonathan VR. We all know that, but it's not like you went out and signed or traded for. For example, Giancarlo Stanton, when you went out and traded for Mike Trout,
or George Springer, and
Shohei Ohtani, like any of those top tier names, you really got to think smaller and almost play the Moneyball game to get the best name available from a struggling team. I mean, even teams like the Nationals, right? If the Nationals struggle, even though they're beating the Marlins right now and are ahead of them in the standings, if the Nationals perform how they did last year and aren't in the race for things, they have names that you can see traded to the Marlins who can be productive. Josh Harrison, I'm sure if the Nationals are competing, Bell, Schwarber, those guys, I mean, even Yan Gomes at the catcher's position, right? Those are all names that you can see in a Marlins uniform as like a guy who wouldn't cost too much and also coming from a team that isn't competing. But then again, that's relying on the Nationals not competing. You would have to look for teams like that. And there's plenty of names out there who can make the Marlins better.
Charlie Blackmon. How about that
name? Charlie Blackmon, great name. I would love if the Marlins weren't so condensed in the outfield. I would love to see Charlie Blackmon in a Marlins uniform.
For my opinion, get rid of Cooper. He is the right fielder.
Get rid of Cooper?
You got to get rid of somebody. You know what I'm saying? I'm throwing out a name out there because if you're going to trade for Charlie Blackmon, because Colorado's rebuilding, he is not part of their future. That era has ended with Arenado and the rest of those guys. So he's not part of their future. He can be a solid trade piece, and especially if he comes to Miami, he will be the immediate everyday right fielder. So that question mark of Duval in right field, Cooper and whatnot, like you have a definitive right fielder now who I think he won a batting title, multiple time All-Star. Like this guy can hit, and like not just because of the Colorado effect. It's not that this guy can hit everywhere. So that's just a name. Just throwing out a random name out there that maybe the Marlins can go after in a trade, or maybe in the when his contract's up with Colorado, he's still a solid player. But yeah, just. You got to work in tiers. You're not going to go straight to the George Springer, one of the best center fielders in baseball. You're going to go to a Starling Marte. That's a lower tier. Still great. Still a great player.
I mean, Starling Marte is definitely one of the best center fielders in baseball. It just, you're right. He's not like A++ tier. He's probably A+ tier.
Right. Like you just got to work in different tiers. And right now the Marlins have worked up that tier in center field and pitching. Now they just got to round it off with the rest of the squad. But guys, we're going to wrap up this segment here. And next segment, to wrap up the first hour, we're going to talk about the lack of position player depth for the Marlins. We're going to get into talk about some specific players that are in the minor league system right now that really haven't shown up. And we're going to maybe talk about that and see how they can make an impact with the Marlins. And guys, don't forget that every day at Onside Radio, our hosts sit down at the round table to tackle the most important local or national sports headlines. The round table is podcasted daily. Search Onside Radio on all platforms. Subscribe, rate, and review to listen to all kinds of station segments. OnsideRadio.com is the home for South Florida sports.
Remember to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Deep into the Count with Alex Aguirre and Christian Chase.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
BYB Extreme Bare Knuckle Fighting Series presents BYB 5. Saturday, May 15th at the fair at Miami Park. We start out 5,000. See Bare Knuckle Brawlers fight live in BYB's patented triangle ring, the Trigon. The smallest and most confrontational ring in combat sports. Early action includes slap fights as seen on YouTube. Buy your tickets now at BYBtickets.com for BYB 5. Saturday, May 15th. Doors open at 6 p.m. BYB is proudly sponsored by BMCHam.com. Your choice for gold and silver. BMCHam.com.
When you want a perfectly straight smile without braces, you can count on MoodieOusDental.com. A stunning smile is within reach. Learn more about Invisalign. Find out why so many trust the Moody-Ouse family. Dr. Moody-Ouse is an inventor and has several patents on innovative surgical instruments that are used around the world. Experience a family environment and trust on a worldwide level. From implants to crowns to a beautiful Invisalign smile. Call 305-821-0231. That's 305-821-0231. Or go to the website at MoodieOuseDental.com.
When you want local sports, 1260 WLESPN.
We're live and local.
Yes, what she said.
Well, it's what they wrote.
Look at it this way, honey.
Oh, no. Here we go.
At some point, this was all live, and wherever it came from, it was local there.
You get that look whenever you stretch the truth or when you need your laxative.
Ain't it awful? South Florida's choice for sports talk. OnSideRadio.com.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Now that it's springtime, it's only getting hotter here in South Florida. Make sure your AC in your home or business is running smoothly by investing in a preventative maintenance plan from M&S Air Conditioning. And M&S is a Mitsubishi Diamond Elite contractor. When you purchase a new Mitsubishi electric mini split system, you'll get a 12-year warranty. Or install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that captures and destroys biological contaminants to improve air quality. M&S Air Conditioning have been providing prompt, honest, and reliable service for over 30 years. Schedule service or call to get more info on our preventative maintenance plans. Call 954-421-3680 or visit ac-florida.com.
These are unprecedented times. Challenging how the YMCA works to strengthen community as we have for nearly 170 years. But we've always found ways to help people and communities in times of crisis. Right now, Ys across the country are providing emergency childcare, shelter, food programs, and outreach to seniors. But we can't do it alone. Whether you're connected to the Y or have a fond Y memory, we need you to stay with us. Reach out to your local Y today and stay with us for a better us.
When you're looking for curtains and blinds to create a space of your own, look no further than Bandalux. Bandalux can tailor your space to your needs. Create the atmosphere and ambiance you desire. We invite you to discover it at Bandalux.com. Explore our new solar control systems, range of sustainable fabrics, and energy-efficient solutions that can improve your well-being and quality of life. Witness Bandalux Beauty. Go to Bandalux.com or follow them on Instagram at Bandalux_official. For a personal experience, A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie and Sunrise is an official Bandalux partner.
This Sunday, Inter Miami CF visits Nashville SC at Nissan Stadium. Join OnSideRadio.com as we broadcast live from Dangerous Minds Brewing Company in Pompano. Our pregame broadcast watch party starts at noon. Game time is at 1 p.m. Listen to all the games by going to our website at OnSideRadio.com and download any of our apps. Follow Inter Miami CF all year long on your home for football. OnSideRadio.com. Welcome to the show with a couple of guys that love baseball more than life. It's pretty obvious these gents have no lives. Let's get back to Deep Into the Count. To step into the dugout, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Here's Alex and Chase.
Segment First hour here, deep in the count. Beautiful day here, May 1st. Saturday afternoon here at Dry Pink Stadium. It's always a nice day here. Beautiful view in the studio. Wrapping up first hour here, deep in the count, my man, Christian Chase. And Christian, I'm going to give you a couple of names in the Marlins minor league system, and I want you to give me one player from that list that I give you that's gonna have an impact, a positive impact on this team. Some of the players I mentioned already.
When? This season or in total?
Like is gonna have the most successful career with the Marlins.
Career. Cool.
So this is just a long prediction. Some of these players have made their debut, especially in the 2020 shortened season when everybody was making their debut. But like I said, and you've said it too, Christian, the 2020 is so hard to make a judgment off that. For anybody, pitchers and hitters, like position players, 2020 was such a small sample size and such a weird season in terms of COVID protocols and whatnot. It was hard to gauge what any improvement or any players going backwards in terms of talent because it was such a weird season. So I'm going to give you some of the names, and here we go. Lewis Brinson, Isan Diaz, Lewin Diaz, Monte Harrison, and Jose Devers. Devers just made his debut, I think, recently for the Marlins. So he said very, very small sample size. But out of those 5 or 6 names, I believe, that I gave you, which player are you looking forward to the most and you think is going to have the most successful career, not even with the Marlins, just in the MLB?
Oh, gosh. Real quick, 2-0 Nationals.
Okay.
Yeah, they're threatening. Paul Campbell is getting demolished. But between those names, it's a tough one just because, we haven't really seen much out of any of them.
Right.
I do want to say I'm going to stick with my guns. I said it at the start of the year, and I think most success out of those names, Isan Diaz. Yes, we haven't seen a lot of him.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. And he hasn't been great in his time up here, but he's young. He needs time to develop. We've seen Lewis Brinson enough. The dude has had like 3-4 seasons of just, as you love to say, below the Mendoza line hitting.
Yeah, man.
Right? We've seen him enough. We haven't seen the other guys. We know what Isan Diaz can do. He has been extremely successful at every other level of the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to think eventually he'll put the pieces together, and we're not expecting a all-star level caliber player. I'm not expecting an all-star level caliber player out of any of these guys. But I do think that Isan Diaz has the highest potential to be an everyday major league ball player, and just be an average MLB player that can help you get wins in most situations. So that's who I'm going with. I'm going to stick to my guns. Hopefully he puts it together today and hits a home run for me to prove my point. But if not, I'll stick with it.
I'm rooting for Lewin Diaz, the big first baseman, the lefty. He made I think his debut last season in 2020. He had a cup of coffee with the team. He got called up from the alternate training site. I like he reminds me, he's got to put some more meat on his bones. He's got to, hit the weight room more. But he reminds me in his size and his frame of Yordan Alvarez, the DH for Houston. Big, long, lanky, left-handed hitter. Great swing. He kind of pull hitter, but he has the power to hit it to the other side of the field. Go oppo as well. I'm rooting for him because it's nice. They don't really have a first baseman of the future. They don't. We see Jazz, we see Isan, we see BA. They got young pieces for specific positions in the future. But first baseman is one that we really haven't talked about a lot. And Lewin Diaz.
Garrett Cooper is. Jesus Aguilar obviously getting up there in age, but so is Garrett Cooper.
He's 20.
We all forget that he's pretty
30.
old.
The Marlins traded for him, and he was already 27, I believe.
Yeah.
So he's not, I get it. He's not old, but you're not going to develop a future with Jesus Aguilar and Garrett Cooper as your first basemen of the future. So that's why I'm rooting for Lewin Diaz. Jose Devers still very young, very raw talent. He could be a formidable, utility type player like an Alfredo Amezaga. Remember him? Something like that. Just a guy you can plug and play in the infield. And it's hard to tell. So we're gonna wrap things up here. The first hour of Deep in the Count, great hour, lots of Marlins talk. Next hour, we're going to get into MLB talk. We're going to talk about some Moneyball. We're going to talk about an historic week in baseball with Shohei Ohtani. He's making the headlines everywhere. A lot of fun stuff. And, guys, catch South Florida staple every afternoon as Alex Donald hosts the Man of the Match from 3 to 6 p.m. Donald covers everything from football to MMA. Tune into one of the most complete sports shows in the country with the Man of the Match with Alex Donald 3 to 6 p.m. exclusively at onsiteradio.com.
You're listening to the home of Inter Miami CF.
His strike is a decent one. It's fired into the top right corner. Gonzalo Higuain opens his account for Inter Miami.
OnSideRadio.com, where the passion for La Rosa Negra runs deep. When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
BYB Extreme Bare Knuckle Fighting Series presents BYB 5. Saturday, May 15th at the fair at Miami Park. Meet Dada 5000. See bare knuckle brawlers fight live in BYB's patented triangle ring. The Trigon. The smallest and most confrontational ring in combat sports. Early action includes slap fights as seen on YouTube. Buy your tickets now at BYBtickets.com for BYB 5. Saturday, May 15th. Doors open at 6 p.m. BYB is proudly sponsored by BMCHam.com. Your choice for gold and silver. BMCHam.com.
Now that it's springtime, it's only getting hotter here in South Florida. Make sure your AC in your home or business is running smoothly by investing in a preventative maintenance plan from M&S Air Conditioning. And M&S is a Mitsubishi Diamond Elite contractor. When you purchase a new Mitsubishi electric mini split system, you'll get a 12-year warranty. Or install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that captures and destroys biological contaminants to improve air quality. M&S Air Conditioning have been providing prompt, honest, and reliable service for over 30 years. Schedule service or call to get more info on our preventative maintenance plans. Call 954-421-3680 or visit ac-florida.com.
OnSideRadio.com knows gamers need a home.
Can you dig it?
That's why for the next 60 seconds,
Can you count, suckers?
here's your On-Side Radio E-Report with Kai Chen Chisholm.
The new Valorant update dropped yesterday on Tuesday, which featured a brand new map called Breeze. The long-awaited and expected map has been coming for some time, as the last time that the game updated and brought something new map-wise was when they brought Icebox a few updates ago. The new season and battle pass in this new act will last for 55 days, and it's been highly anticipated for the skin packs that Valorant has been able to bring, as well as just the battle passes that they've been able to have as well. Fans have been looking forward to having something new and fresh inside the game, and they'll be very, very happy to be able to get on, download the update, and play with their friends.
Stay in touch in the world of gaming with the On-Side Radio E-Report. On-Side Radio presents Deep Into the Count with Alex Aguirre and Christian Chase. From traditional to analytical, shifting to stealing, the boys talk about the All-American game through different lenses. To reach out to the show, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Slide in by text at 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Let's get started with this week's edition of Deep Into the Count.
Play ball.
Oh yeah, we're back. Hour 2, Deep in the Count. Loving the song choices. Great job, Abel, behind the booth there. Awesome work. Hour 2 here, Deep in the Count. We're live coming from Drive Pink Stadium. Inter Miami will be playing tomorrow, but not here. They're on the road in Nashville. Christian, hour number 2 here, Deep in the Count. We got a lot of surprises so far. A lot of surprises so far in the MLB season. Great, we see it every season somewhat, but we're getting past that first stretch of games. Okay, things are kind of dying out. Teams are forming on where they're going to land in the standings. They're getting into place somewhat around this time of the season. Still a little bit early, but things are falling into place. Not this season, though. We thought 2020 was a bit crazy in terms of the scheduling and whatnot. This season is crazy in terms of the teams that are coming out on top so far, in terms of the Kansas City Royals, the Giants, the Red Sox, all these teams, and you and I, like people have talked about, and you and I talked about it, Christian. These were teams that we didn't think were going to be in the top of their standings at all. Not even second.
No. Not in the slightest. I mean, I'm just as shocked as you are. I think a lot of people. I mean, there are teams that I don't. There are some teams in first place right now and up there in the division too. I don't think will stay. I'm not sold on the Royals. I am sold on the White Sox, and the White Sox are picking up steam. Won 7 of their last 10.
Yep.
I think that division will be the White Sox very soon. But the Red Sox look really, really good. I'm not gonna lie to you. The Yankees look bad. Blue Jays look good. Their offense looks there. But the Red Sox look legit. The Athletics, the A's look legit.
Save your ammo for the A's.
Okay.
I want to save that ammo for the A's for our Moneyball segment because we got a lot to talk about. I feel like you and I were going to collide a bit in that for our Moneyball segment. The new school and old school analytics coming at you guys for next segment. But yeah, Christian, with the White Sox, we talked about that. That was my dark horse pick in the American League.
Mm-hmm.
They're picking up steam like you said. The Astros, they're 14-12. The Angels are hanging in there. It's been pretty competitive so far in the AL West. Let's talk about the Yankees for a second. And let's talk about the AL East in general. I want to break that down a bit more.
Sure.
Everyone is in place somewhat. The Rays, this is the theme for the Rays, especially like in the last few years with Joe Madden and now with Kevin Cash, I believe is his name for the manager for the Rays.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of start slow for the most part, in every season. And then that second half, they turn it up, man, because I feel like they know the long game in terms of the baseball season. Their strength in recent years has been their pitching, and that's what's carried them. They've had clutch hitting. They have good hitters. They have a very solid lineup, don't get me wrong. But what carries them throughout the long season is their pitching, and they have a ton of it, and they always do. They know how to work their bullpen with their openers and whatnot. I still don't agree with an opener, but they know how to work it and know how to call a good bullpen game. So they're 13-14 right now. That's okay in my opinion. I feel like they're gonna do okay, like they're gonna catch some steam later on. The Orioles, everyone thought they're gonna be a bottom feeder, but yeah, you're right. They're gonna be they're a cute story, but I don't think they're like the Marlins, though. I feel like the Marlins have a better shot of sticking around in their top division, too. They got better talent. They got better pitchers overall, that core.
Well, if the Marlins stay hurt, I think they're in the same position as the Orioles.
Correct. Because I feel like the Orioles are more behind the 8 ball in terms of the rebuilding process. They're a few stages behind.
They're a little behind. I don't think the Orioles will be a bad team for many, many years to come, but I don't think this year is their year. Like you said, I think the Rays will get up there. If any team wins this division that's not the Red Sox, I have the Rays. I had the Rays from the start as I think I had them as my dark horse, if I remember correctly, because I had the Yankees as my team.
Mm-hmm.
Talked about this with Mark Simon on the show last week. He had the Yankees at the start as well. I believe he had the Yankees and the Dodgers as I did, but he had the Yankees beating the Dodgers in the World Series. So we're both a little shaky on our predictions, but the Yankees look hopefully to be turning it around. But I do think that division is going to be a fun one to shape out. I think the AL East may turn out to be more competitive than the NL East, and we predicted that the NL East would be probably the most competitive division in baseball. But I think the AL East has a lot more. Because we didn't predict the Red Sox being good.
No,
but now the AL East has 4 teams that can viably win the division. The Blue Jays are good, the Rays are good, the Yankees are good, and the Red Sox are good. So that's a very fun division to watch and just keep an eye out for.
Christian, I want to get your takes. I want to get your opinion on this here. Talk about the Yankees here for a second. The Yankees have a lot of power guys: Aaron Judge, Stanton, Sanchez. Aaron Hicks is another power guy. Is the problem for the Yankees too many strikeouts offensively, not pitching, offensively? Is that their problem? Too many strikeouts in the lineup? They got all these big names, but with a lot of power hitters traditionally, like guys like Stanton and Aaron Judge, they strike out a lot too. So is there too many strikeouts in that lineup to have us to actually be a scary lineup?
I'm gonna say no. I don't think that's the issue. Okay. I think the Yankees are actually polar opposites of the Marlins, right? I compare everything to the Marlins because obviously I do Marlins coverage every day, so I know the ins and outs of that team. But the Marlins, as we know, are a team that is going to win games based off their pitching, and hope hope that the hitting is good enough to carry or to get through a game when their pitching only allows 2 runs. The Yankees are the opposite. Their pitching is the issue, I would say, in most cases, and they're reliant on the hitting. And when you're reliant on offense, right? Yes, for a power offense, you're gonna strike out more, but you're also gonna hit more home runs. So I think those two things cancel each other out. But when your team is hitting focused, right, you're gonna struggle at the start of the season to get a groove, get going, because pitchers always start a little bit more prepared than hitters do.
Yep.
So as we saw, the Marlins starting pitching started extremely hot, the hitting starting extremely cold. For the Yankees, because the pitching isn't their thing, with the bats being cold, we're seeing this poor start. But once they wake up and they start hitting home runs that balance out the strikeouts, I think the Yankees will be more than fine in the AL East. As long as they stay healthy, of course. That's obviously a big issue for any team.
Especially with the Yankees with Stanton. He's got a long injury history. Some of it's not his fault as well with the injury he endured with the Marlins with the hit by pitch. But, he has a track record. It's hard for him to stay healthy for a full season, unlike his MVP year in 2017. But, yeah, I agree with you. The Yankees, I feel like I'm not too worried about them. It's a long way to go. They'll be fine. Let's push things over now to the National League, Christian. We've always talked about the National League East a lot. The Marlins are in last place, technically, but they're only a game and a half behind the first-place team. They're 11-14 right now. Let's go to the NL Central here. The Brewers, they're on top with their pitching because Yelich didn't play at all in that series. They have a lot of injuries. They're really banged up, and they're still at the top of the division. Pirates, hey, they're 12-13 right now. We thought
shockingly. That is not what I predicted.
No, we thought they were the bottom feeders. The Cubs were going to battle with the Cardinals and the Brewers on the top, and the Reds. They're slow. They have a lot of sluggers. But the pitching has been been a concern. So it's all bunched up in there in the Central, with the Cubs at the bottom.
I put out a piece when the Arenado trade happened about the NL Central. My predictions were the Cardinals would win the division, the Brewers would be in second.
Right.
The Cubs would be in third. Reds would be in fourth. Pirates would be in fifth. And to be honest, what I've seen this year, even though the standings are a little shifted from that, I think that's most likely what we're going to see when everything shapes up in the NL Central.
I agree. The Cubs are way too talented, especially on paper, with the names that they have, to be at the bottom, especially in a division with the Pirates, who are obviously in a complete rebuild. So the Reds, I've always said it, before the season, they got a lot of big names in that lineup. Headlining with Joey Votto, their main guy. But they have Eugenio Suarez, Aquino, Moustakas. They got a lot of power, especially in the Great American Ballpark. It's one of the best hitters ballparks in all of baseball. So they're in good shape in terms like that. So I want to see them, bring up their pitching because they're a fun lineup to watch. So they can get some complementary pitching with that. They're going to be a scary team. When we get closer to the postseason, and we get closer to that, when teams start separating from each other and whatnot. But I agree with you, Christian. I did not expect the Brewers to be at the top right now. Cardinals, I think, are the most complete team in my opinion in the NL Central in terms of pitching staff and a lineup as well. They're very complete. They're like this, like I said, they're like the Spurs of the MLB. They might not have the biggest names. They got names, obviously, with Arenado. The Spurs have like Duncan, Ginobili, Parker, but they're not the flashiest names in all the world. And they're always gonna produce. They're always gonna be at the end in the playoff race. That's just the Cardinals' way.
Even last year, right? They didn't have those names last year, and they were still, in the playoffs. So.
So I think things are going to shape up for them in the NL Central. The Cardinals are still my pick as well. Brewers are going to hang in there, but I just think they don't have enough. Let's move things now to another big surprise. 2 big surprises, actually, in the same division, the NL West. Obviously, we predicted the Dodgers. Everyone predicts the Dodgers. Padres right behind them. They got a fantastic, young, exciting team. But it's all crunched up with the Rockies, being the bottom feeders, but the Diamondbacks are 14-12. Then the Giants are at the top of the division right now at 16-10. Christian, I did not expect the D-backs or the Giants to be right there pacing with the Dodgers. I feel like, obviously, the deeper we get into the season, the Dodgers are way too stacked to be hanging around with the Diamondbacks and Giants. They're going to break away, but for now, it's not looking like that.
Yeah, we saw the Giants. They're a good team. They're a solid team. I would not be surprised. From what I've seen, I don't think the Diamondbacks, I don't think the Diamondbacks are, an above 500 squad. I think, give them some time and they'll fall below. But what I'm thinking will happen over time is it's looking to me, at least, like the two wildcard teams will probably come out of the NL West. And I think it's going to be the Giants and the Padres, right? You're right. The Dodgers are going to break away. It is going to happen. They've lost 7 of their last 10. They're on a downward streak, right? But they started the year 13-2. Clearly, that can continue for them, right? They can find that same level of play again, and they will many times throughout the season. I think the Giants are a good ball club, and I think the Padres are a good ball club as well. I think the NL West is going to be a frenzy to see between those two teams which one wins is first place in the wild card, and then which team is going to be fighting with the Brewers to be the second wild card. Because I think it will come down to the Brewers, and then either the Padres. It'll be the Padres, Giants, and Brewers in that wild card spot most likely, and because I don't believe. Maybe you see it differently, but I don't think any team from the NL East will be a wild card potentially just with the quality of play from the Giants, Padres, and Brewers up to this point.
No, I agree with you 100%. I just think that, like you said, the Dodgers, they're way too talented. They're going to break away from everything. But, and it sucks too, the wild card is the Marlins magic. That is how they make the postseason in all 3 of their tries in franchise history. But it's just tough. It's a lot more competitive than I expected, especially in the wild card phase. Because the top teams in each division, I think our predictions are going to be correct in that sense. But it's going to be not with all these surprises. If they hang around like the Giants and the D-backs and whatnot, this wild card race is going to be pretty damn exciting, and I'll be looking forward to that. And I hope the Marlins are going to be in the thick of things as well in the wild card race. So, but that's wrapping up the first segment here in hour 2. Next segment, we're going to get into some Moneyball action. We're going to get into Moneyball talk with Christian. I know he knows a lot about that. He's going to give us some fun numbers. I'm going to talk about, old school, how it conflicts with new school in baseball. Can Moneyball work? And is it back in action this year for Oakland? And guys, don't forget, start your morning every day at 8 a.m. with Toasted Sports. Toast covers all the local sports stories while providing some great Miami Hurricanes insight. Download, subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Toasted Sports, 8 to 10 a.m. only at OnSideRadio.com.
Remember to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Deep into the Count with Alex Aguirre and Christian Chase.
When you want a perfectly straight smile without braces, you can count on MoodiasDental.com. A stunning smile is within reach. Learn more about Invisalign. Find out why so many trust the Moodias family. Dr. Moodias is an inventor and has several patents on innovative surgical instruments that are used around the world. Experience a family environment and trust on a worldwide level. From implants to crowns to a beautiful Invisalign smile. Call 305-821-0231. That's 305-821-0231. Or go to the website at MoodiasDental.com.
Are you ready?
Higuain had a window of illusion here for Morgan. In for some strike. It's into the top corner. And Lewis Morgan has got a brace again.
The passion.
Goal! Captain Morgan! What a shot! What a blood! What a missile!
Onside Radio is prepared for another Inter Miami CF campaign. Catch the games. Go to our website and download the apps. On your home for La Rosa Negra, OnSideRadio.com.
If you're looking for a change from the everyday restaurant, then you need to get to Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach. Brats, Wiener Schnitzel, homemade potato pancakes, pretzels with mustard, and lots of German beer. And with daily specials, there is something for everyone. If you're up for a challenge, you should take their famous boot tour. Finish 30 boots of different varieties of German beer, and you'll receive half price on their beer for life. And you'll get to take home your own boot and Checkers Old Munchin t-shirt. They also have outdoor seating available in their new beer garden with live music, as well as carry-out, curbside pickup, and delivery. So, for the finest German food and beer, get over to 2209 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Checkers Old Munchin Restaurant, or call them for reservations at 954-785-7565. That's 954-785-7565. We'll see you at Zagat Rated Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach.
He has an overbite that makes him look like a cartoon character, a slightly crooked eye, and an uncommonly wrinkly neck. In the right light, he can look a little like a garden gnome, and he'll wear a bow tie just because. Sure, you might call him a little quirky, but that's exactly what makes him so perfect. Tuna is a 3-year-old Chihuahua Dachshund mix with more than 700,000 followers on Instagram, and it all started because he was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Tuna, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Let's step back into the batter's box with Alex and Christian. To reach out to the guys, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Back into Deep Into the Count on OnSideRadio.com.
We're back here, Deep in the Count. Alex Aguirre, Christian Chase. Segment 2, hour 2 of today's episode. We promised some Moneyball talk, and we're going to give it to you. Christian, the Oakland A's recently had a win streak that got snapped this week. I think it reached 13 games, and it reminded me of the 2002 Oakland Athletics, obviously the Moneyball Athletics from the movie. That movie took place in the year 2000 for the team. And that year, in 2000, the Oakland A's won 103 games, and they had a 20-game win streak. That's crazy. It's still the record in Major League Baseball. So, and Moneyball kind of rubs me in the wrong way because everyone the movie seems like, we're a small market team. It's hard to compete with the Yankees and the Red Sox and whatnot. I get it, but people forget that Oakland A's team in 2002, even after losing Johnny Damon and Jason Giambi and Jason Isringhausen, they still had Miguel Tejada, and then their starting rotation was Tim Hudson, Barry Zito, and Mark Mulder. So I think they still had a lot to work with. They were still a 130-win team. So it goes to show that you can still be competitive, even losing star talent. But at the same time, can it win you the last game of the season? The World Series can win you the last game of the season. Christian, you're a lot more knowledgeable than I am about this in terms of, can this work? Can this be a long-standing philosophy and game plan? Because, Millie Bean has been in Oakland for a long time, but he still hasn't won that last game of the season.
Yeah, it's tough to look at it and be like, oh, yeah, it's going to work when you haven't seen it work until the end, right?
Right.
The 20-game win streak in Oakland, I made the same mistake last week when I was talking about it. For some reason, I forgot, and I looked it up after. But the Indians won 22 games in a row, like in 2017. I totally...
What? I didn't... Oh,
really? Yeah, no, I know. I was like, did I get that right? Did someone break the record? And I looked it up, and I was like, dang, bro, I just told everyone that... A complete lie. So for everyone, 22 games, Cleveland Indians, 2017.
That's right. Yes, you're right. Yeah, I remember now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was shocked. I looked at it. I had to double check I wasn't looking at a fake source. I feel like that never happened, but it did. Either way, Moneyball is the optimal system for a team that's struggling. Real quick, just a homer by the Nationals. It is 4-0 Nationals off a Yan Gomes 2-run home run off Paul Campbell in the bottom of the fourth. But forgetting that,
hit the showers,
Moneyball can definitely work. It does work. We saw it in Oakland. We see it in Tampa this past year, making the World Series, right? And it's hard to see not see the World Series wins and say that this works. But a famous quote from Billy Beane himself from Moneyball, I'm not entirely sure if it was in the movie, definitely said in the book.
What's up?
Where he talks about what that method does. And what the method does is get you to the playoffs, right? In a 162 game season, you can control how well you are going to do because it's a large sample size. Your team is going to perform according to how they're supposed to perform because it's a large sample size. And he said his goal as a general manager is simply to just get the team to the playoffs. Because if they're good enough to be in the playoffs, they're good enough to win a World Series. Any team in the playoffs is theoretically good enough to win a World Series, like the Nationals won in 2019. They weren't the best team.
Nope.
Right? But they won. And the Oakland Athletics in 2000, for example, weren't the best team, and they lost. And they lost to a worse team, I believe, that year or the year after they made the playoffs, and they lost in the first round to the Minnesota Twins, who throughout the entire season the Athletics beat, and they were better then, right? And the stats, even in that series, showed that Oakland should have won, but they got unlucky in a small sample size. So it's extremely hard to, like, look at anything except regular season results because, in theory, the playoffs in any sport, MLB, NBA, NFL, even more so in the NFL, is it's not truly the results, right? Because it's a small sample size. You're playing a 7-game, a 5-game series, and in the case of the NFL, a 1 game that decides whether you move on or not.
March Madness.
So it's hard to put emphasis on that for me. So I'm a full believer in Moneyball. Situations like that, using the stats, gets you to the playoffs. From there, it's just a crapshoot, really, to be honest, because that's the formation of how professional sports are played.
And sometimes, like a team, like just to put it in a South Florida perspective, like the Marlins in 03, they were definitely not the best team at all compared to the rest of the playoff teams, American League and National League. They were not. They caught lightning in a bottle, and they rode that to the playoffs. As soon as Jack McKeon took over as manager, I forgot the date, but it was they were probably around this time of the season, about 30 games in, something like that. They made the managerial change, and they had the best record in baseball from that point on forward. So it's about, I get you. It's about sometimes teams that had a terrible first half, they have a hot second half. They make the playoffs. They ride that momentum to the playoffs and find success like that as well. You see that a lot in
the
sports.
Nationals in 2019 had a terrible start.
Exactly. So. And baseball's such a crazy sport in that sense that it's such a long season that literally any storyline can happen. Anything like for example, like the Oakland A's 2002, 103 wins, a 20-game win streak, and they can't win it all because once the playoffs start, I feel like the what you did to your opponents in the regular season goes out the window. And
right, like if you get lucky enough, you're good to go. Like if you just started a playoff with every single team, right? There'd be a chance that the Tigers make it to the World Series, right?
Yeah.
Because they could catch fire and just get lucky. And that's what happens in the playoffs. So you can't really put too much emphasis on it, you know?
I have a question for you, Christian, real quick, wrapping things up here in this segment. Since we're on the Moneyball topic, the Oakland A's are a small market team. They still are a small market team. Is this sport in baseball, Major League Baseball, will this always be a sport dominated by bigger market teams? Like, I get the Rays made the World Series last year, but the Rays aren't making the World Series frequently. The Oakland A's haven't made a World Series since the 80s, I believe. You know, so is this sport always going to be dominated by the big teams like the Yankees, even the Mets? You know, like are they going to just have a stranglehold on the league in terms of acquiring talent and keep getting talent and keep buying and keep getting the best to win that final game of the season?
Yes, and it's not because Moneyball, the ideas behind Moneyball don't work, right?
Right.
But it's because every time that a low market team does something, right, and utilizes it, like we saw in Moneyball, like we see teams do, like the Pirates did in 2013, with their defensive, their utilizing of the shift more, their utilization of specific statistics, and signing Russell Martin when no one else wanted to,
That's
and then
right.
getting to the playoffs after years and years of defeat.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that, once they happen and the rest of the league sees it happen, because it's pretty evident when it happens, we'll just adopt that
Yeah.
and use it with more money. So the concepts that these lower market teams have to do to stay afloat are just going to be stolen by the bigger market teams who have the capability to not only do that, but also pay the money for the higher tier players. And then you're fielding a team of good players as a lower market team, but there's higher market teams fielding players in the same way, but for more money. So the system of Moneyball works, but it is a corrupt system of baseball where it's just going to be that continuous cycle where bigger market teams are going to always have that advantage over you.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I agree with you that in the sense that Moneyball can work. It obviously has been proven that it can get a team to the playoff. I'm not going to bash and say, oh, it can't win you World Series, because it can. It can.
Mm-hmm.
It just hasn't been done yet because of just the way sports are. It's just sometimes guys get hot at the right time and some guys get cold. And that's the way it is. And when baseball, when you're so dependent on a lot of moving pieces, it's hard. It's hard, especially and like injuries as well, making it through the whole season. And then if one of your star players goes out, you have to rely on other guys to replace that. Like they talked about in Moneyball. We gotta stop thinking of replacing Giambi's 40-something home runs. So I kind of like that mindset as well. That we don't have to replace this exact player. We can get the win another way. We can get that. We can get
right.
So. I kind of like that. The moving parts. You're kind of not beating the system. You're just finding a new system to win. You know that. So
Mm-hmm.
and it does favor the smaller market teams in the sense of we can still be competitive. So I do like. I know when it first came out in Moneyball and that game plan, that philosophy received a lot of backlash about it. But it's funny. Hindsight's 2020. We go. That was in 2002. 20 years later, like you said, everyone's practically adopting that now, just with deeper pockets depending who you are.
Yeah, it's a tough situation to be in for any team. That's why the Marlins have to really develop their talent and hope that the talent is that of a quality, higher level talent overall, right? Like with Jazz Chisholm and such, because if Jazz Chisholm continues to play like this in a few years when his contract's up, a team like the Yankees is gonna swoop him up, right? So there's an extremely small half-life for lower market teams,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what makes it insanely harder for them to succeed.
You got to catch lightning in a bottle in a way. You got all this young talent, take advantage of it, make a deep run, sprinkle in some veterans like a Pudge, David Justice, for example, for the Oakland A's in 2002. So stuff like that. It can work. It can definitely work. I'm a firm believer in Moneyball. I think it works, but we'll just wait and see until it wins the final game of the season. And guys, Onside Radio is on the move. Take us in your car, on a jog, listen at work, anywhere you go. All you have to do is download the radio.net app. Go to your app store, download and search Onside Radio, South Florida's sports station.
Remember to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Deep into the Count with Alex Aguirre and Christian Chase.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Enter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
Inter Miami CF fans, join us at our new home this season for all away games as we broadcast live at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company, 1901 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach. Join Big O and Alex Dono for the live pregame, halftime, and postgame shows while we watch the games. Enjoy meticulously brewed beer on site, delicious artisanal pizzas, live music, and giveaways. So, the new home for all Inter Miami road games is at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company at the Pompano City Mall, where they'll feature all the Inter Miami games. Follow them on Twitter at Dangerous Minds B and Facebook and Instagram at Dangerous Minds Brewing, and visit them at dangerousmindsbrewing.com.
With Make-A-Wish, the impossible becomes possible. A girl battling cancer can become a race car driver battling the course. The boy showing all the nurses his fire trucks can take the helm of a real one. Wishes can give kids with critical illnesses the strength to keep fighting, get better, and grow up.
Where there's a wish, there's a way.
Wishes need you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
When you're looking to add that extra style and protection for your home or business, visit A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie or Sunrise, where plantation shutters are a major part of our business, and they look great in any home. We have them in white, stained colors, and wood tones. We can even motorize your shutters like the one in the OnSideRadio.com studio. A Shade Above Window Fashions, 954-434-4774. That's 954-434-4774. Love the space you live in. A Shade Above Window Fashions.
Every 2 minutes, a woman in the U.S. is diagnosed with breast cancer. And in that split second, her life changes forever. The toll of breast cancer is great. The need to support those who are battling the disease today is even greater. We're fighting alongside patients because we know one moment can change a lifetime. United by hope, we can end breast cancer. Join our fight. Save lives.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
Welcome back to Deep Into the Count. To reach out to the boys, send a text to 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Here's Alex and Christian.
Oh, yeah. Andy, are you okay? Andy, are you okay? Okay, Andy. I love it. I love it. We're back here. Deep in the Count. Guys, don't forget Onside Radio gives you a ton of options to listen to the station. We're on a bunch of different apps, just like radio.net, Podbean, Radio FM, MyTuner Radio, Simple Radio, and Zeno Radio. There's so many different outlets to listen to, not just Deep in the Count, but the weekday programming as well. You know, Inside the Paint with Ira Winderman, Ethan Skolnick, Man of the Match with Alex Dono, The Onside Zone with the Big O, Toast of Sports. You know, so there's a lot of different stuff, a lot of fun stuff to listen to. But guys, in baseball this week, it was a pretty historic week. I don't know about you, Chris. You know a guy named Shohei Ohtani. Have you heard of this guy?
No, man. I've never heard of him.
Oh, well.
Is he good?
He's pretty good. He's a two-way player. According, I read a stat that this past Monday, Shohei Ohtani was the first pitcher since Babe Ruth to start a game as a pitcher while currently leading the MLB in home runs. The last time Babe Ruth played, I think it was over 100 years ago now. So, this is meteoric stuff, man. This is awesome. This is awesome to see a two-way player.
Two-way player. It's great. I mean, it's super cool for the sport of baseball, right? I talked about it a lot last week on the show when you were having a good time at your bachelor party. But I think it's just a great thing for young kids, right? I mean, I know I was told when I was playing the game that I had to, switch to be a one or the other, pitcher or hitter, and I was told to switch to the one I was better at, pitching, right? I miss hitting. I still, and I fell into that kind of mindset that I couldn't hit, right? And even going to play club baseball at UF, I'm like, when they asked, I was like, yeah, I'm a pitcher only. When I very clearly should have just said I'm a hitter. Like, why not, right? There's nothing to lose. So, Shohei Ohtani has like inspired me to, when I go back and play some club baseball next season when I'm on campus at UF, I'm gonna swing it. I may not be
Yeah.
great, but I'm gonna have fun, and that's like an important part of the game. And for these kids, I think it's a good inspiration. It's exciting. And I definitely think because of Shohei Ohtani, there will be some turnover. We will see more players trying to do both. It may not be a lot to start, but it's definitely showing that it is possible.
Yes.
So why not, right?
It's possible, and it's a good thing you mentioned that as well, in terms of baseball reaching beyond the field and showing this to other kids, younger players, in the sense of do not pigeonhole yourself. You can be a stud pitcher, that's awesome, but if you can swing it, more power to you. They always say being a catcher is the quickest way to the majors. But if you're a player maybe like John Birdie, but with obviously more hype around him and a better skill set. But but a player like that you can plug and play, like a Kike Hernandez, you're doing yourself a favor. You're not pigeonholing yourself. You can play. You're showing scouts and other teams or colleges for that matter. If you're in high school, if you're a young player, that you can be moved around the field. If you want me to get you an inning, I can pitch you a shutdown inning, and I can also hit you a home run if you call for me as well. That's pretty cool.
Right.
And it's awesome to see because at the end of the day, like I was in the same position as you, Christian, as a young player. Pitching was my thing. I thought, okay, well, and then I didn't even concentrate on hitting anymore. And then when they asked me, I was like, no, I'll just pitch. I'm cool with it. If they asked me, I wanted to hit. Because at the end of the day, me and you put all our eggs in that basket of pitching that, we're going to be a little bit behind the 8 ball in terms of, once we step foot in the batter's box, because since at a young age, we just been concentrating on pitching,
right.
Or vice versa for another player. You want to be a shortstop. I love playing shortstop. That's all I want to play. That's awesome. And you could be a pretty good shortstop, but there's a lot of pretty good shortstop out there. But maybe that other pretty good shortstop can play second base or maybe the corner outfield spots. And you can. Right. So you're giving yourself the leg up, and that's great to see that Ohtani is showing this type of game plan that is doable. Because you got to put your concentration on one thing, be a master at your only one craft, and then that's how you can make the majors. And he's proving that wrong. And it's cool to see like that. Like we're getting stats, we're getting stuff from the times of Babe Ruth over 100 years ago. If we continue getting some more stats like that, that's gonna bring some more relevancy to baseball. It's like all these records, all these numbers after over 100 years of not even being talked about, not even being touched. Now they're being broken. I feel like it can finally bring it's not gonna skyrocket baseball into the levels of football and the NBA. But breaking records is always a fun thing. But breaking records are over 100 years old, and you mentioned a name like Babe Ruth. That's a different level of cool, especially for baseball, who needs a lot more cool.
Yes, 100% needs a lot more. We've talked about it many, many times, but there needs to be a little extra something on baseball. I read a stat though recently. I talked about it last week because I was hoping to talk about it with you.
Yeah.
Baseball viewership this year is on the rise. Granted, that was a press release put out by Major League Baseball itself.
Okay.
So we don't know how reliable that is.
Skewed numbers, but okay.
Also, NBA is on the decline, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm happy NBA is on decline. I love watching basketball, but it's good for baseball that it's growing. Highest viewership throughout the first 20 games in MLB history apparently. Through platforms like MLB TV, extra innings, and just watching your local games. So hopefully that's true. We're on a positive trend, and stuff like Shohei Ohtani is going to be, exciting for the game because there hasn't been this level of talent in a while. And, I work with some really, really great, baseball statisticians for some projects I do at school, and in their free time they work on all-time MLB lists, right? Who's the greatest of all time.
Okay.
The only person in the last 3 decades that is in the top 10 is Albert Pujols. That's it. He's number 9, right? And the rest of the names are from the 1950s and earlier, and you have guys like Willie Mays and Babe Ruth are the 1 and the 2. But circling back to the Shohei Ohtani discussion, from what he's done in his time playing while not injured, he is on pace to reach that top 10. And Mike Trout, by the way, is on pace to be number 1 by a mile.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's just exciting. And I'm excited. I love watching the Angels. And to be honest, they can't keep fumbling for the sport of baseball. Baseball needs one team to succeed, and it's the Los Angeles Angels.
Wow. Okay.
That's
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the other side of the coin, because I was going to get to that. You mentioned Mike Trout. Mike Trout finally has somebody else. You know, obviously, like he found a Scottie Pippen in a way. You're not going to find another Mike Trout. You can't. It's impossible. There's only one Mike Trout. Like you said, he's arguably on pace to be the greatest baseball player of all time, or at least position player of all time. Because I like separate. I don't like putting pitchers and position players in the same in terms of calling who's the greatest of all time. But anyway, Shohei Ohtani is good for baseball. He's what baseball needs, and for Mike Trout as well. Because you know why? If he succeeds, then and Mike Trout succeeds, then that's more exposure for the team and for the greatest player in the game. The Angels don't make the playoffs ever. I think they made the playoffs once so far in Mike Trout's career.
And they lost immediately.
Know
who are the top 2 candidates on all betting odds to be the AL MVP right now?
Who?
Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout.
There you go.
Both of them on the same team, and you have a former AL Cy Young, or not AL Cy Young, I'm sorry, AL MVP or NL MVP candidate during his time with the Nationals, Anthony Rendon. So when those guys are healthy, if that team is not making the playoffs,
it's a bust of a season.
Not only is it a tragedy for them, it's a tragedy for the game, right?
They need Mike Trout needs to make the playoffs. He finally got a running mate with Ohtani, and Rendon is no scrub either. They're forming a team. They still have Albert Pujols. I get it. He's up there in age. He's still a pure hitter. So Albert Pujols. You got Justin Upton. He's no scrub either. So the lineup looks good. It looks like a very formidable lineup. Now with Ohtani there in the mix, you can get that best player in baseball to the playoffs and bring more exposure to the game, which brings more ratings up. It's like, finally, we can see the best player in the game on the grandest scale. Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani in the World Series, not even the World Series, Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani in the American League Championship Series against the New York Yankees, for an example. That's the numbers on that is got to be astronomical compared to maybe the ALCS last year or in 2019.
The Angels versus Dodgers in the World Series.
There you
getting
go.
To see the 2 best players in baseball, Mookie Betts and Mike Trout.
And they're
how amazing would that
right
be?
down the street from each other, LA and Anaheim, right down the street. So it's like that's another crazy storyline. Mike Trout in the playoffs can only bring positive and awesome things for Major League Baseball, and then with Shohei Ohtani right along his side, I want to see the MLB create a MJ's kind of Scottie Pippen storyline in that esque Batman Robin, except both guys are like Batman in this sense.
Both guys are Batman.
So I'm excited for Shohei Ohtani, and like you said, health is another major issue with Ohtani. He's not a rookie. Like people have known about him. He's just never put everything together because of his health, whether his arm or like one of his legs. Like it's just he's been battling a lot of arm injuries as well because So they got to find a way to preserve him for the long season, 162 games. And that's the difficult aspect. Like, when are we going to throw him out there to be a pitcher? When are we going to throw him out there to be a position player? But I feel like they found the right rhythm. They found the right, game plan to how to best utilize Ohtani. And I think, the Angels are in a good spot right now. They're not the bottom feeders. I think they're 500 right now. I feel like they can make a good run. And if they do, more power for the MLB, because that's what we want to see. Close that gap between Major League Baseball and the other professional sports in the United States.
Yeah, the Angels had played good baseball to start the year. They fell off a little bit. They're at 500 right now. They're only 2.5 back of that Athletics team that we've talked about a bunch. I love the Moneyball story, but I think the Angels winning that division would be the best thing that could happen this year or any year. I just want to see Mike Trout play competitive baseball, play meaningful baseball, right? We got to see Albert Pujols, an all-time legend, play competitive baseball, and it was exciting.
Yeah.
So many big moments, that home run against Houston, are you kidding? Like, the dude was legendary, and Mike Trout is the same, if not, statistically, Albert Pujols did have a better start to his career than Mike Trout, but still, they're so quality-wise, they're very similar. You want to see it. I mean, and Mike Trout has extra intangibles as a defensive player and as a base stealer and just as everything. And then you also get the added plus of a guy who is all in one, a poor man's Mike Trout at the plate, in my opinion. And when I say poor man's, it's slightly for Shohei Ohtani. He's a very great hitter.
Yeah.
And then also probably a poor man's Jacob deGrom. But when we say that, it's very close, right? You're getting a Jacob deGrom-esque and a Mike Trout-esque in one guy with Shohei Ohtani. So just so many possibilities. I want to see the Angels win that division. I know you do as well. And I know for many, many weeks to come, we'll be having segments just solely based off talking about Mike Trout making the playoffs.
And that's good. And we should be talking about the best player in the sport more often because he deserves it. And like, they got to be good. If they're not good, then no one's going to talk about you. That's how it works in sports, plain and simple. And guys, we're going to wrap up this episode Deep in the Count in the following segment. It's been a fantastic show. It's been awesome. And guys, don't forget, you can watch Onside Radio daily by subscribing to our YouTube and Twitch channels. Search Onside Radio. Log on, subscribe, rate, and review Onside Radio on YouTube and Twitch. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's home for real sports talk.
Remember to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Deep into the Count with Alex Aguirre and Christian Chase.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
BYB Extreme Bare Knuckle Fighting Series presents BYB 5. Saturday, May 15th at the fair at Miami Park. Meet Dada 5000. See bare knuckle brawlers fight live in BYB's patented triangle ring, the Trigon. The smallest and most confrontational ring in combat sports. Early action includes slap fights as seen on YouTube. Buy your tickets now at BYBtickets.com for BYB 5. Saturday, May 15th. Doors open at 6 p.m. BYB is proudly sponsored by BMCHam.com. Your choice for gold and silver. BMCHam.com.
When you want a perfectly straight smile without braces, you can count on MoodiasDental.com. A stunning smile is within reach. Learn more about Invisalign. Find out why so many trust the Moodias family. Dr. Moodias is an inventor and has several patents on innovative surgical instruments that are used around the world. Experience a family environment and trust on a worldwide level. From implants to crowns to a beautiful Invisalign smile. Call 305-821-0231. That's 305-821-0231. Or go to the website at MoodiasDental.com.
When you want local sports, 1260 WLESPN.
We're live and local.
Yes, what she said.
Well, it's what they wrote.
Look at it this way, honey.
Oh no, here we go.
At some point, this was all live, and wherever it came from, it was local there.
You get that look whenever you stretch the truth or when you need your laxative.
Ain't it awful? South Florida's choice for sports talk. OnSideRadio.com.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Now that it's springtime, it's only getting hotter here in South Florida. Make sure your AC in your home or business is running smoothly by investing in a preventative maintenance plan from M&S Air Conditioning. And M&S is a Mitsubishi Diamond Elite contractor. When you purchase a new Mitsubishi electric mini split system, you'll get a 12-year warranty. Or install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that captures and destroys biological contaminants to improve air quality. M&S Air Conditioning have been providing prompt, honest, and reliable service for over 30 years. Schedule service or call to get more info on our preventative maintenance plans. Call 954-421-3680 or visit ac-florida.com.
These are unprecedented times. Challenging how the YMCA works to strengthen community as we have for nearly 170 years. but we've always found ways to help people and communities in times of crisis. Right now, Wise across the country are providing emergency childcare, shelter, food programs, and outreach to seniors. But we can't do it alone. Whether you're connected to the Y or have a fond Y memory, we need you to stay with us. Reach out to your local Y today and stay with us for a better us.
When you're looking for curtains and blinds to create a space of your own, look no further than Bandalux. Bandalux can tailor your space to your needs. Create the atmosphere and ambiance you desire. We invite you to discover it at Bandalux.com. Explore our new solar control systems, range of sustainable fabrics, and energy-efficient solutions that can improve your well-being and quality of life. Witness Bandalux Beauty. Go to Bandalux.com or follow them on Instagram at Bandalux_official. For a personal experience, A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie and Sunrise is an official Bandalux partner.
This Sunday, Inter Miami CF visits Nashville SC at Nissan Stadium. Join OnSideRadio.com as we broadcast live from Dangerous Minds Brewing Company in Pompano. Our pregame broadcast watch party starts at noon. Game time is at 1 p.m. Listen to all the games by going to our website at OnSideRadio.com and download any of our apps. Follow Inter Miami CF all year long on your home for football. OnSideRadio.com. Welcome to the show with a couple of guys that love baseball more than life. It's pretty obvious these gents have no lives. Let's get back to Deep Into the Count. To step into the dugout, dial 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Here's Alex and Chase.
And we're back here wrapping things up. Deep in the Count, May 1st. Live here at Drive Pink Stadium. I'm Alex Aguirre. Christian Chase. Woo! Riding shotgun with me. Another beautiful, fun, exciting episode of Deep in the Count. It's been amazing. Another 2-hour show. Been really happy and glad that we got a 2-hour slot now. Onside Radio weekend programming. And guys, there's another update. Miami Marlins game going on right now. Ugh, not looking good, Christian.
Not good. Let's not talk about it.
Ugh.
No reason to. It's a lot to a little, fellas.
A lot to a little. Tomorrow they got another game closing out their weekend series against the Nationals. They got the day off on Monday, and then they're facing a team that we were giving some high praise to earlier in the show, in the Arizona Diamondbacks, one of the bigger surprises so far. In the early MLB season, they started a 3-game series with them on Tuesday, May 4th, and then back at it against the Brew Crew, against the Brewers at Miami, though, for another 3-game series. So, some competitive games coming up a lot against good teams. Like we said, Brewers are on the top of their division right now. The D-backs, they're right there. They're a 500 team right now. So, Christian, the big theme that I've been seeing recently too. Let's go back to that weekend series in San Francisco, and then the games coming after that. A lot of close games. That's been the theme. Today's game against the Nationals hasn't been going with the theme recently. There hasn't been a lot of blowouts at all this season. Surprisingly, there's been a couple here and there, just like today, but. For the most part, a lot of these games, even the wins that the Marlins are getting, are very close, intense games.
Yeah, the Marlins have played good baseball so far. I mean, they haven't really been blown out, right? Today, obviously, changes that. What I'm concerned about is just how hard this opening schedule has been for the Marlins.
Definitely.
We know they had a very hard start against a lot of really good teams, and we both of us, I think everyone in the Marlins community expected that these upcoming games against the Brewers, Giants, Nationals, and Diamondbacks would be an easier stretch. But the way these teams are playing, I mean, the Brewers are at the top of their division, the Giants are at the top of their division, the Diamondbacks are above 500, and the Nationals are only a game back of first place in the NL East. The Marlins have not hit any luck in their scheduling, and from what I've seen, it's not going to get very much easier, and that's just a really tough situation to be in with all the injuries. So hopefully they can tread water, stay around 500, a few games under, and not go too far in the hole before the names return.
Yeah, and things don't get easier after that Milwaukee series. The Diamondbacks again for for a 4-game series at Arizona. and then the Marlins go on the road. They're still on the road for a 3-game series against the LA Dodgers. So things are not going to get any easier for the Marlins in the near future. But like we said, the theme so far has been the team hanging around, sticking around, fighting against these really good teams, staying competitive. That's what me and Christian and I, we talked about it prior to the season starting. We talked about, like, that's what we would like to see. As fans of the Miami Marlins, we want to see this team fight and compete, and that's what they're doing, other than today. But, guys, that's going to do it here for today's episode of Deep in the Count. It's been a blast. We'll be back next weekend for more Marlins and MLB talk. I'm Alex Aguirre. That's my man, Christian Chase. Take it easy, guys. Have an amazing weekend. Take care.
And if you want these kind of dreams, it's Californication.
Welcome to OnSideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. No station in South Florida provides more live and local sports talk.
This is like rock and roll with no music.
Follow us on social media at OnSide Radio.
ADHD. It's the child who can't pay attention or sit still in school, right? The answer may be yes. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, can be complicated and it can last a lifetime. Living with a condition can sometimes be a challenge. It may take years to accept a formal diagnosis, and it's not always easy to find the right treatment plan. Did you know that up to 75% of children and adolescents with ADHD have at least one additional mental health condition that also requires a comprehensive approach to treatment? ADHD guidelines were recently updated to reflect the need to screen for associated disorders. Be sure to talk with your child's doctor about proper screening and visit moretoadhd.com for additional information. That's moretoadhd.com. This message has been brought to you in partnership with ADA, ACO, and CHAD.
These are unprecedented times, challenging how the YMCA works to strengthen community as we have for nearly 170 years. But we've always found ways to help people and communities in times of crisis. Right now, Ys across the country are providing emergency childcare, shelter, food programs, and outreach to seniors. But we can't do it alone. Whether you're connected to the Y or have a fond Y memory, we need you to stay with us. Reach out to your local Y today and stay with us for a better us.
Hello, Inter Miami CF fans! Download the Drink AR app and play inside a first-of-its-kind virtual soccer stadium, hosted by Bodega Trevento and Inter Miami CF, and celebrate your passion for soccer from the comfort of your own home. Find the download links on our Instagram account at Treventus and get our wines delivered straight to your home with a discount for all Inter Miami CF fans. Discover Trevento, a shared passion.
This Sunday, Inter Miami CF visits Nashville SC at Nissan Stadium. Join OnSideRadio.com as we broadcast live from Dangerous Minds Brewing Company in Pompano. Our pregame broadcast watch party starts at noon. Game time is at 1 p.m. Listen to all the games by going to our website at OnSideRadio.com and download any of our apps. Follow Inter Miami CF all year long on your home for football. OnSideRadio.com.
Now that it's springtime, it's only getting hotter here in South Florida. Make sure your AC in your home or business is running smoothly by investing in a preventative maintenance plan from M&S Air Conditioning. And M&S is a Mitsubishi Diamond Elite contractor. When you purchase a new Mitsubishi electric mini split system, you'll get a 12-year warranty. Or install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that captures and destroys biological contaminants to improve air quality. M&S Air Conditioning have been providing prompt, honest, and reliable service for over 30 years. Schedule service or call to get more info on our preventative maintenance plans. Call 954-421-3680 or visit ac-florida.com.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
You're listening to OnSideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnSideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. Get in the zone. The Onside Zone.
And look, man, I don't care if you're my wife. If I don't agree with you, I'm going to say it.
The Onside Zone.
I don't care how you win a championship, dude. You can draft it, you can buy it, you can trade for it. Just win, baby.
The Onside Zone.
You're not Aladdin rubbing the lamp and then Will Smith comes out and you ask him, hey, fix our dolphin problems. And there he goes. No, I'm sorry. It'd be nice if it was that easy, but it's not.
You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You can connect with us at OnSideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. The Onside Zone with a big O.
All right. We are ready to rock. We are ready to roll. Yes, sir. Hope you all are doing well. I'm feeling good. We're 24 hours away from the draft. Well, we're a little more than 24 hours because we don't make a pick till whatever it is, like 8 o'clock or something. Well, no, it starts at 8, so we probably won't make a pick till closer to 9, I would imagine. No. It's only 6 picks. I don't think they'll take up to 10 minutes. I think, but before
Dolphins won't pick till 8:45, guaranteed.
Yeah, right around there. 8:40. Yeah, 8:45, 8:30. You know, it all depends if
you got to let ESPN tell every sad statistic about these people and their personal lives before we get to the Dolphins.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, they're going to tell all kinds of stories and all kinds of crap and everything. But yes, we are ready to rock, baby. It is the fun time of the year.